Well, it's a marvelous night for a...
What I'd like to talk about now is point number 2. Finding your why was point number 1 on our steps forward to designing and living our life. Step number 2 is a tough one for an awful lot of people. And it's tough because it means taking responsibility for yourself and your actions and what's going on around you. A large proportion of society struggle to take responsibility for themselves. It's always someone else's fault. It's always someone else who did something. There's always reasons they haven't done, they haven't achieved, they haven't been. There's a wonderful model called above and below the line. And we're going to talk about this model because it works in really well with where we're going right now. I've already spoken about a few of these things. Blame, excuses, denial. These things don't serve us as individuals to grow and prosper and be more. This type of thinking is a victim mentality. Okay? And victims are what we call at effect. Being at effect, and you can imagine if you have a ball, the ball's nothing's going to happen to the ball. But if the ball is at effect, every time someone pokes it, prods it, the wind blows, that ball gets moved around. That ball has no control over what's going on. It is at effect. Now, as human beings, when our instant go-to is blame, excuses, denial, then what happens right there? We are becoming the victim mentality, we are at effect, in which case we have no direction, we have no say in the direction that we go. So when we're living at effect, and most of society, as I've said, lives at effect, someone else's fault. I didn't do it, I didn't know, they didn't, the government didn't, the economy, etc., etc., etc. Excuses. Where we want to be is above the line. And this is where the line comes in, and it separates where we should be, where we have power. I don't mean power in a negative way, I mean we have power over how we live our lives. And up here, we have things like ownership, accountability, and responsibility. You can see by my board work why I didn't stick with the teaching career that I took off into. You start to see how these words differ from these words. These are all about somebody else. These are all about me. Ownership. I'm taking ownership of what I'm doing. Taking ownership of what has to be done. I'm accountable. Accountability for what I'm doing, what I said I'd do, the results that I'm getting. It's about me. Responsibility. Too many people, adults especially, avoid responsibility. We cannot grow, we cannot get different results if we don't take responsibility for what we're doing. So if blame, excuse and denial are a victim mentality, what do you think we could call this particular mentality? Exactly. A victor mentality. A victim mentality means we're taking control, we're winning. And I don't mean winning dancing around, bragging to everybody else, but would you rather have the mentality of a victor or a victim? Who has the power? Who has decisions? Who has things they can do? It has to be the victor. And when we start to live this way, instead of living at effect, we are living at cause. If you can start to live your life at cause, then you have real power over the results that you get. You have real power over what's happening in your life. You have real power whether you are getting closer to that why or whether you are being driven away from it. And that is what you want. Would you like to be in control of how things happen? Would you like to be in control of where you're going? Or are you happy to leave that all up to someone else who doesn't necessarily have your best interests at heart? They probably have their own best interests at heart, and you are a cog towards them getting what they want. When you start to live at cause and take responsibility for what you're doing, you will be amazed at the results. This is a really confronting topic for a lot of people, and it often comes up, well, how can I be responsible for everything that happens in my life? How can I have been responsible for attracting the car accident? Well, I'm not sure. But you are definitely responsible for how you react after that. Let's take the car accident. We hear so often people involved in car accidents that aren't their fault. And it may be that someone's run a red light, someone was doing the wrong thing, and they have collected you. And that's a real shame. But from that moment onwards, which of these two mentalities gets you a better life? Which of these two mentalities gets you to move on and move forward? Which one of these two mentalities holds you back due to that car accident that wasn't your fault for the rest of your life? So from that moment on, you have the choice of becoming a victim, and some would say with valid reason, or you have the choice of becoming a victor and moving on from that. I know recently we watched the Paralympics after the Olympic Games, and I was absolutely inspired by these people. Now there's a degree of the Paralympians, and I wish I knew the figures, who were born with their disabilities, who have learned from day dot to get on. But I would go as far as saying the majority of the athletes in the Olympic Village, it has happened through accidents, through amputations, through things that needed to occur through their life. Now they've had to adapt at that point with what most of us would consider a horrific injury that has seriously changed the course of their life. Now they could have gone, woe is me, they could have gone back into a shell, they could have gone into care, they could have had people looking after them for the rest of their lives. That would have been their lot. Now if you've turned up at the Olympic Games, and I don't care whether it's the Paralympics or the Olympics, you haven't taken a victim mentality, you've taken a victor mentality. Because you have taken control of the situation, you have said, I'm going to be the best I can be. And these people have gone to an Olympics. Most of us as able-bodied people are never going to get close to an Olympics. I have huge respect for the Paralympians who have taken control of their lives. They've taken control of the situation. They've made the best possible outcomes of the situation. They've said, this isn't going to stop me. This isn't going to change. And I know you can listen to a lot of interviews where people said, that event really has made a lot out of their lives. I can't say that they're happy that it happened, but almost that sort of mentality that, you know what, that was the thing I needed to really be extraordinary. And that's what we're looking for, extraordinary. So you can be part of the herd, you can be part of the society mentality, and you can blame the government, you can blame interest rates, you can blame the economy, you can blame your family, you can blame your schooling, you can blame the education you didn't get, and you can go on with that forever, and you can live with that story through the rest of your life, and that's fine. 80% plus, 90% of society do that. And that's the results they're going to get. Now, if that's where you're happy, then that's up to you. But you're in this room because you're not. You want more. You know there's more, and you want to know how you get it. This is how you get it. You leave the herd mentality behind. You take responsibility, ownership, and accountability for everything that you do. Once you start to do that, you watch the results change. Almost overnight. You will see incremental change from day one. From the moment you leave this room, if you take on this mentality to be at cause for your life, you will see marked differences from this evening. That's not always easy. One of the things that I love with personal development is awareness. And for me, it's one of the keys. Now, just having awareness is no good. We're aware of a whole heap of things go on. Facebook now, you can sign all these different petitions to save all these different things, but seriously, that's not helping. But what awareness does, it gives us choice. Once you are aware of something, you have a choice on how you can change it, how you can act. Now, the awareness might give you a choice and you might decide not to act, not to make a choice. That is still a choice. What you're gaining right here, right now, is an awareness of how you can get the life that you want, how you can increase your happiness, how you can spend more time with your family. You now have that awareness. The choice is up to you. There's a lot of people that ask what I do and they say, oh, you're a motivational speaker. I don't like that term. Because as a motivational speaker, I'm going to get you incredibly excited right here, right now. I'm going to get you incredibly excited as you walk out that door to continue your life. That motivation may stay with you for the next hour, may stay with you for the next day, may stay with you for the next week. But you're going to have to keep hooking in with me or another motivational source to keep that going. That's hard work. You need to get inspired by yourself. This is where this starts to happen. Be a cause, you take action around the cause and you take responsibility. You've got the awareness, now start making some choices. You won't make the right choice every time, but it'll start to become a habit. You'll start to notice things, you'll start to notice people's language, you'll start to notice your actions, you'll start to notice your thoughts, and you'll start to think, is that getting me to my why? Is that taking me forward? If the answer is no, then if it's not taking me to my why am I doing it? If it is taking me to my why, celebrate, count the win, tick, keep going towards your why. So that's point 2. Find your why and live at cause rather than effect.
Well, it's a marvelous night for a moon dance with the stars up above in your eyes.